Welcome back to Pat Profit Playground. Um, so it's the 15th of the month. We halfway through the month. September 2025, man. We're approaching the fourth quarter, man. So doing some back testing, doing some trade, doing some looking at the charts. And, I was thinking about like why a lot of people don't reach their goals in life in general, not just with trading, but if you want to, when it pertains to trading, it's really a lot of people don't choose they hard. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember just, you know, growing up and something I always heard, including me myself, like, oh, this is so hard, bro. I do not want to do this. Like this is tough. Like the commitment that you must have to be successful is it's hard to fathom, I think, for some people. I think most people truly think like being successful is it's just something it just happens. Like it's just luck. And I think most people don't have the belief or believe in anything other than what they were taught. Even with the state of the internet and so many people teaching, I think people really don't understand like, yeah, I mean, only a select few will be millionaires and multimillionaires and have that type of wealth. But a lot of it is just you starting. Like you can literally build wealth in the stock market and real estate by just being around the right people and soaking up their energy, so and soaking up their information. You do not have to do it alone. Like that was one of my biggest issues. My pride. My pride have cost me millions of dollars in my head because I wanted to figure things out on my own. It's taken me way longer, right? And it's not that you're incapable, but it's also taken me way longer, not because I couldn't figure things out, but it's because I couldn't figure things out with allowing things to distract me. Distractions will be the root of why you do not ever reach your goals, why you will never attain the ultimate goal. You know what I mean? Like I think about all my distractions throughout my life as an adult, and it was a huge reason why some of my some of my goals weren't accomplished. Like when you really think about it, most of you guys work and then you're on the internet, social media, scrolling. Then your friends, your family want to hang out. And I think most people can't really comprehend that you may have to say, I can't do this. Like, I can't go. I can't go to that family reunion. I can't go to that birthday party. I can't go out tonight. I can't. And a lot of people, well, you gotta live your life. You just can't be. But when you really grind and you really got goals, when you really trying to reach a certain goal, I realize like my mind shuts off on the weekend. And I didn't used to be like that. Like I study and I take time to look at the charts on the weekends every weekend, but I don't study as much as I used to. Like between the kids and my life, my it's busy. And so I can't even get an hour to myself. Like, and I realize like it's tough. Like, it's just I just realized in order for me to reach the goal I want to like really accomplish, like I have to sacrifice this. Like, and eventually I'll become the master at this. I saw a dude I follow. He works with the EYL. Dude Ian on there. He wrote something on Twitter that he said for beginner. And it's just based on he does the stocks and then investing. And he said, uh, 40, I think he said 40 pages, four pages a day, um, and 50 charts or something, or 40 charts. 4 pages, 50 charts, and then he put 50 pages, 500 charts, or something like that. I'm like, yo, I can't even fathom, and 50 charts, 500 is considered elite. I'm like, bro, I work a regular job still. I have a family. Like, even if I say F them and take 4 hours a day, 6 hours a day, and just like I can't do 500 chart, like even 50 charts. I'm thinking when I look at 7, 8 different stocks or 7, 8 different assets on futures in a day, I'm overwhelmed just looking at like trying to, okay, what I'm looking for the same similar setup. Okay, these assets do move a little bit differently. Obviously, these particular assets may move differently during this type of year. So learning the seasonality and all these different things. Like I can't imagine that level of elite. Like I'm like, and that could be just what he thinks is elite. But I'm just thinking about it. He's successful. He's called out some amazing trades, amazing stock buys since I've been watching for the last 4 or 5 years. And so I can't even like, I mean, he's more people know who he is than anybody know who I am. So I mean, the time he put in paid off. And it's very difficult to really conceptualize a future where you are that guy or girl. You know what I mean? And you have that same knowledge because you can think about the work it's going to take to get there and it can be overwhelming. So like I realize I just have to take it step by step. Like I really just have to, okay, day by day. And it is overwhelming. That's why people don't do it. The more I see and think about how different people in my family had to pivot, they do get to a point where they satisfy what they was able to do. They're like, well, I was able to do this. Like I took care of my kids. You know, they ate every day, they fed. We was able to go on couple some vacations here and there. I'm grateful. But those weren't their goal. Like those weren't their aspirations. Those weren't the biggest things that they wanted to accomplish. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they weren't like, oh my gosh, like, my mom, I want to be an EMT. I remember at 12, 13, my mom wanted to write, had screenwrite. She was like, she wrote poems and she was a great with poetry. Like, I feel like if she would have really pursued it, she would have been phenomenal. And I'm not even coming from a place of like, oh, that's my mom, of course, but it's more of like she wanted to screenwrite. She was writing scripts, trying to write scripts, and like her mind moved differently. But she gave that up because the amount of work it took for her to do that, even as a hobby, raise kids, be a wife, go be the best sister she can be, because she helps support mentally, emotionally. My aunt who had sickle cell, you know what I mean? A lot of times when she was there for her, trying to raise a son and then having my little brother and then eventually having the twins who I'm 15 years older than, you know, just that's overwhelming in life. Like life is always going to throw stuff at you. You feel me? Like life is always going to make you feel like you can't accomplish the goals that you want to reach. It's just it's a lot, man. It's tough. And I think sometimes it's it could be so overwhelming that you just be good. Like, I'm just happy that my kids are healthy. That's the mindset. Well, that's what happens. Like, that's what happens. People don't believe. My wife told me, her sister said, like, everybody want to be a millionaire, but in reality, none of us really gonna be able to get that. Like, I just want to be comfortable. And people love saying comfortable. People don't know what comfortable is. What is comfortable? Like, comfortable is all relative. I live in Dallas, Texas. Comfortable for me is five of us. Comfortable? Do you know what comfortable to me based off the things that I need and the things that I enjoy? Because that's how I look at comfortability. The things I need are satisfied, right? The things I want, I'm able to fulfill as well, right? I'm able to fulfill those wants and those needs. I might not be able to do it um in excess, but I can do it in excess at times, right? For instance, if I want to go on two vacations a year, which is more than probably what the average person's able to do, I can do it. When I say two vacations, I mean like two legit, like out the country, out the state to somewhere else for 5, 6 days, 4 days with your family and not be worrying about if I spend 4 or 5 thousand on this, I'm broke. If I spend 3,000 on this, I'm broke. Me not necessarily having to save for that type of trip. Maybe I have to save a little bit for like the $15,000 trip that you might take once every couple of years or so. But that's comfortable to me, right? That's how I see it. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and bills are paid, investments are properly funded, savings is properly funded. You feel what I'm like? You feel what I'm saying? Like, this is what I how I see it. You know what I mean? Like these things is how I look at life. So when people say I'm comfortable, are you thinking about 6 figures? What type of 6 figures? It's a difference between 100,000 and 500,000. It's a difference between 500,000 and 950,000. They all making 6 figures though, right? I mean, what's comfortable for you? Do you live in San Francisco? Do you live in Dallas? Do you live in New York? Like, do you live in Hawaii? Do you live in a small town in Georgia? Do you live in a small town in South Carolina? Do you live in the Midwest? You feel me? Okay. If you do live in New York, do you live in New York City? Do you live in upstate New York? Do you live in Long Island? You feel me? Do you live in the outskirts of New York City, but not quite Long Island, but like, do you live in Florida? Do you live in Jacksonville? Where cost of living is much cheaper than maybe South Beach, Miami. Like, what? This is why you have to choose your hard because people will say, I want to be comfortable, but are you even choosing your hard now so you can be comfortable? Or are you choosing the easier route and you're just, oh, I know what? I just don't want to be stressing trying to get rich. It's not about trying to get rich. Like, it is a level of comfortability in your life that you're going to be comfortable for a long period of time. I always tell the kids all the time, especially the oldest, I say, hey, yo, you're going to be an adult much longer than you're ever a kid. I said from 0 to 17 years old, you're a kid. Maybe mentally at 18 to 21 or 18, like you're still so young, right? You still might have like a childlike mindset. Maybe especially boys, maybe up to even 25. But 18 and up, you're an adult. So as I said, you'll be an adult longer than you'll be. By the time you get to your late 30s, you've been an adult longer than you ever was a kid, ever was a child, right? Ever been underage. You get in your 40s, you're already well over that time. 50s, well over. 60s, you're like you're 25, 20 plus 30 years in as an adult plus over in comparison to being how long you are as a kid. So these are things that like people don't really break down in their head step by step by step. And I've been doing that more and more these last couple years, like step by step. What do I need to do on a daily basis? And some days I'm better than others. Some days, and that's why you have to have routine and that consistency. Because as much as I try, it's like even today, I'm tired, bro. I did not get good sleep. I did not. I'm tired. I have to clock in my job in about an hour and talk to people I do not want to talk to about insurance, bro. I just don't want to do it. It's not even worth it, but it's worth it to make sure I feed my family, to make sure I can have trading income on as a supplement until I'm able to do it full time. And for me, like my number, for me to do it full time, I have to have me, because I have a family. Like I have to have at least, I don't even think a year. A year is not comfortable for me. That's minimum of year of I can pay all our necessities and even some of our wants with our bills, right? So if my overhead every month is 4,000, I can do that. Like I had 48,000 saved for this, right? Plus I always say additional 15, 20% for random stuff for some doctors, maybe a dentist appoint stuff that maybe cost extra money or some, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, like, and then another 10% for maybe what? Um, savings, maybe to invest in savings aside till I do this full time. So you talk about anywhere between 55 to 65,000 saved if my overhead is 4,000 a month to take care of everything. And that doesn't even give me a cushion for real because that's just to pay the bills. That doesn't give me the cushion you think it gives me. For me, my number's like 250. Right, like right now, because I think our overhead is around actually closer to like 5,000. I know that why is overhead. We have a high car note. I'll tell you right now, it's not 1,000, but it's the average in the nation. Look up the average car note in the nation right now. I swear, kind of where we're at with our car note. And trust me, the car does not match. And our rent is 2,100. We're gonna have to move soon to get a bigger place because we're outgrown this place. Not because we want something fancier. We outgrown this place. We looking at an average at least 300 to 400 increase. So we'll say 2,500. I'm already about 3,400 just on rent and car note. Food with 5 people and a teenager and a 9-year-old who can eat and a 3-year-old who's getting to that age too where she's eating. You're talking about 800 a month minimum, 800 to 1,200 a month. Look, I'm already at 40 something hundred. Then you're talking about like gas, electric, water, rent. Like it's in the like 54, 5,500 overhead just about. That's and people like, well, you gotta decrease that. Bro, I'm not, bro, do we get on these kids about food? We don't shop at Whole Foods. We be shopping at Sam's Club. We try to buy in bulk. Then we try to mix it up with like buying certain things like from like the smaller stores, but we try to buy stuff in bulk too. But make sure they have school lunch, breakfast, making sure they do have some snacks. We try to eat healthy. Eating healthy is a little bit more expensive. So when I'm trying to buy fruit, I'm going to buy a bunch of fruit and making sure they can consistently eat it. So yes, I want them to eat the food. Car note. It's because we got the car when our credit had just went down, had a crazy rough year the year before, and our credit went from like the high 600s, it was almost seven, and plummeted to 500. So when we had to get the new car, our car note interest rate was high as hell. we maintain electric bill really well. On average, it's 150 to 200. You know, live in Texas, we do kind of keep the AC at an even level. So on average, like it's about 150. On the higher one, it could be 200, 220. Um, I mean, the internet bill is around 200. So it's around 120. The uh cell phone is around 200, 250. Like, you know what I mean? So when you start calculating, it's like eating out is what we had to really, because of convenience. Our schedules, so like meal prepping is something that we've really been like working on trying to master. Because that, when you want convenience, you'll pay for additional services, which cost more money, right? Just like paying, okay, I just don't feel like cooking. I got off at 7. I got all this extra work. Okay, I got the house, look at the house, and then you get the kids to do it, keeping them on the schedule, keeping them on point, holding them account. Hey, make sure your room is clean. That it's not like, why is it stinking here? Like, why does it smell like? What do you guys? I told you not to eat in the room. Like, it's these things you have to be as an adult, as a parent, but you can't make excuses for nobody cares. You just figure it out. You do it. So when you think about all these different factors on your success, on your life, that you gotta do on a day-to-day, yeah, your routine is easily can be easily swayed for a lot of people. You can eat, oh, like we was just reading the Bible every morning and it stopped just because our mind, like, oh crap, I get up and read it because it slips your mind. So you have to be so intentional in your daily, like what you do. This is why you didn't have a planner in the schedule. Like it can be overwhelming. And this is why people just be like, F it. So I can imagine a single mom or the single dad or the grandma that's raising the kids, and you don't have the help you need, and you got kids. Like that's what if you're single and you don't have kids, bro. Go take the risk and go hard. Take it and go. Like take it and go. I don't understand, man. Take it and go. Just go hard. Go all in. The hardest thing is going all in, bro. It really is. That's been the hardest thing for people. Is going all in, honestly. Most people can't do it. They can't figure it out. Let me look at some charts real quick. Uh, I had Top Step up already. Uh, yeah, MEQ went up, um, took off, and jumped up 100 and something points. Because when I was looking at it, it was going up here, pulled back. No, it was even up there. It was up in here. When I came to the market, it was trying to break. Well, I was going to jump in for the buy. I just decided not to. It wasn't my trade. Honestly, I was willing. Like I missed the comeback here. So I mean, I missed the setup that I probably should have took, but this happened to happen overnight sometime. So I mean, I just didn't really. I wasn't prepared this morning, so I'm not going to take a trade. I have no intention of taking a trade if I see something later on. But Trump said some positive stuff about China. Um, I think Tesla went up too. Elon Musk bought a bunch of stuff, which has to do with like S&P 500 and NASDAQ, because these stocks, these big, large companies, especially these tech companies, are in that, in these ETFs and stuff. So, um, it's something that people should notice. But this was a perfect entry right here. This is what I was on Friday. I said if I can get it there, I will retake it because it's probably gonna continue up. Once it made another high here and broke this high, made a new high, played right here, accumulation. Let me uh, ah play it right here. Accumulation phase, cause collecting orders right here. So it tested this one, consolidated, collecting some orders right here. So it went sideways. We knew it was going to break, right? Because when it accumulates right here, right, after testing the high and it doesn't immediately fall, right? And that's what it's going to do. Even here, when this happened last week, if you just look at this, it was showing you that it wanted to go up. Look at that. Look at that. This is stuff that you don't typically that people don't. This is typically people don't use, right? So let me show you. Let me show you. Let me show you. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? All right. I'm going to use the Fed. I can't even think about what I need. But anyway, just look at this level, right? It's been wanting to go up, but look at the pattern right here, right? So here, this was a level to test, right? Look at this 61.8, and I had this on the 4 hour, the 4 hour or the day. Look at the 61.8, right? It shows you when it hits this level, once it breaks this, when it hits this level, this is a good level of it bounces, right? So yes, it had to break this level, right? That's when liquidity, that's when banks get in. Right here, these order block here, right? This is where the banks want to come in. When you see a level where it just pushes, it's like a big, we call it a thinly traded candle like this right here. This is usually when a bank come in. When I say banks, the bigger institutions, all the large, smart money, it's always levels where they like to come in. It's very similar to uh, support and resistance where order blocks are usually are, fair value gaps and stuff. So what happened is it came here, pushed it, then it created a level of comfortability where it traded sideways, right? So this was the zone. You could have made money in this zone. You try to take the highs, the lows. A lot of people don't like trading here, but it happens, right? But this is also a level where it broke to the downside where also they were at when they push it all the way down here. So this is a level where you have to watch right here to this little level right here, right? This where price is at right here. So because price is right there, you see it when it finally did tap it, it really immediately tanked. But when it tanked, it didn't come all the way back down to this level down here. It didn't come back here yet. It bounced off of this level. Now, this is what I would call level of support. It bounced off this level, right? Look at this. Check this out. What is this? What is this? Hold on. Uh, what is this? What is this? It's a head and shoulders. Shoulder, shoulder, head. I want y'all to look at that. They don't so many people because everybody trades smart money now. So many people don't discuss that. They don't show that you still gonna see patterns in the market to give you a sign. When I saw this, I said, hey, I think I just head and shoulder that's about to formulate. When it was coming, I said, oh yeah. It was coming down here. I looked to the left, I said, oh yeah. I see it's probably not gonna tank right away. It's gonna bounce here a little bit, play, it's gonna look just like this area right here. And it did. I actually missed this sell just out of I wasn't prepared. I was like, I seen it coming. I didn't set no alerts or nothing. Just distractions, like I mentioned earlier, how it can affect your life. And it bounced here. And then it kind of come up a little bit with these small little pullbacks, right? Before it tanks. Then this is probably a guaranteed inducement. It was a fake out. Somebody probably got in this and thought it was ready to tank. Came back up, played here again sideways, accumulating orders. But if you just look at even this, especially after here, this showed you it wanted to go down, especially here. It's hard to see it live because you probably got in here thinking it was gonna go much higher than it did. You probably got in here for the sell thinking it was gonna go lower than it did, and you probably had to sit in this for a little while before it actually tanked. If you trade on a prop firm and some of this stuff happens overnight or after the market closes, you can't sit in a trade because most prop firms are not going to allow you to sit in a trade overnight or over the weekend, right? You're not able to hold on to trades like that, right? So you're not able to just, oh, I'm gonna hold on this like you would do in options. With futures, you can't just do that. So you can't just hold on to trades like that. So you have to be ready to execute, right? Or have your limits ready, knowing where price is going, right? Price is so important to understand. But another reason this is important. Another reason why you should have known this was coming down to always look to the left and see what it's doing at this price. Look out, see that I marked this area? Look at what the highs are, even when it tanked. Look between what 615, 640. That's where it's trading at on a high level. Once it hit this level, it never even came close to 615. The highest it came was 542, right? It was at this level. So that should have showed you that this is a level that it's not even breaking this. It's probably going to eventually sell off. And now, then what happens is you see the bigger headed shoulders, shoulder, shoulder, little crooked shoulder, but check that out. We doing a shrug. Look at that shit. Boom. It took off and broke right here at the same level. When it hit this level, that should indicate, hold up, the way it's trending down, look at that. Way it's trending down, this is trading below these highs. This is going to sell off again. Sell off, touch this, swept liquidity under here. Okay? Back to these levels, right? Then it bounced, just like it did on these levels. It bounced high, boom, took off. Retracement, went higher, hit these levels again. So you don't want to hit, if it didn't start to trade above, I will say this. You should be looking at sells right here. You could have caught a small sell right here. Boom, went back to this level. Bought, came here, played around, still mostly sideways, came back, tested this area now, but now it's higher than this little box here. It's higher, and then it quickly tested it, bounced, and took that buy. Now this ain't as clean. This ain't as clean as some of these other buy area, but it shows you that it's going to buy here. Right? It's going to take off from here. Now it's ready to at least, I would have looked at it, at least touch this high again, where the shoulder dropped. Once it broke that level, retested it, and then took off, and it doesn't take off clean. And sometimes we be looking for this type of buy right here, right? Because we want it to look clean, right? And it's not going to always look clean, right? Came here. I want y'all to see. Anytime it's a bullish candle, it opens low and goes up. Anytime it's a bearish candle, it opens high and comes down. That's why you see the wick down here. It opened low, tank came back to this level. This was another level for you to quickly get into for the buy. If you missed it, then you missed it. And it took off, right? It took off. Look at that, right? Closed. This candle closed. I'm on a 5-minute right now. This candle closed. Where did it open at? Where did it open at? opened here, went up, came down. That's why it's a wick that came down, then it pulled back some, and then it opened here on this bullish candle right here. Ah, right here. Opened there, came down, pushed up. When it closed right here, came down, traded into this candle, pushed up, and then it just took off. Saying it came down, traded into this candle, pushed up. Consolidation right here, accumulate orders for sale, swept some liquidity above here, came down. Buyers like, nah, 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 pushed it back up. Created that M pattern. That M pattern will get you there. It was playing. So if you was looking at this live and I was looking at this live and I wasn't ready, my wife actually made some good money. She made like 2,000 on this sell. I wasn't ready. No, I did make money. I took a short from like here to here and made like $800. She caught the whole, like mostly this whole half this whole thing and made like 2,000. And then it tanked right back here, back to this where it was tested right here. Any liquidity above here hit, it might have been in the fair value gap up in here somewhere. It caught it, boom, order block, boom. Now it's accumulating orders again. Boom, boom, boom. Slowly went back up. It bounced right here. Check this out. It bounced right here. You could have got in right here for the buy. Took it back up here. Look at that. This is a fair value gap right here. Took it here. Now it went sideways. Boom. Accumulated more orders. It did it again. It bounced right here, just a little higher, back to this wick. Took it here. And it did that sideways. Confusion, right? Because if you're not experienced, you're looking at this like, what the hell is the market doing? It's no breakouts. It's going sideways. I really don't know what I'm doing. But it bounced here, which shows me, okay, it wants to test that high again. All right. It's going towards all-time highs again. Because now you're looking at high, the low, high, low, high, equal highs. This is higher than this high. This low. Bounce here, but then it pushed it back down. It couldn't break it again. Push it down here is level of support. It broke right here. Right here. Ah, right here. Right here. Reason why? It broke and bounced right off of here. Credit the W. Didn't want to come below this or this. None of this. This was the real break right here. This should have showed you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Bounced off of here. Hit this again. Right. So now it's current higher low, higher low, higher highs, higher low. On a larger time frame, it didn't even tap this level anymore. Once this buy didn't tap, it tapped into this, to these lows, and we're here where it broke off. That was indicating, okay, it's a very high chance, very highly probable. It swept liquidity. It grabbed out of the oil can. They're also looking at the catalyst of the market. What's going on in the market? There was a lot of positive stuff with everything that was going on when it comes to interest rates, CPI, PPI, um, um, Broadcom went up like 30%, I think Friday or Thursday. Like so much was happening over this last week or so. Just so many good things came here. This was the previous all-time high. It tested that level again. Break it, boom. It played, never came back down. It stayed, and then if you had your trend line, look at this. Look at this. It's showing you if you can take a step back and be like, okay, it's showing you it's back on the uptrend. It's no longer trading these lows that was down here. It's back on the uptrend. Look at that. It's bouncing off these key levels of support and it's tapping them, and then it's playing within that. What you do within that is totally up to you. A lot of people, some experienced traders, they don't trade that middle part because it's too indecisive. So they catch these key levels of triple low, triple bottoms, and double tops, and they'll take buys and sells that way, tops. And you're still kind of trading consolidation to some degree, right? And they're waiting for breaks. Then you have the breaker traders who's waiting for these breaks to happen. Like somebody took this buy when it broke this level, when it opened the market. Somebody took that. They would have made money. I don't like taking that. I like getting the retracement. And the reason why I didn't get in because I'm trying to stick to how I trade. I've said this before, I don't take the opening candles often. Sometimes it can be lucrative. I know people that do. I've seen people do it. You can make money. But I don't do it often because it's not the way I like to trade. You feel me? Like it's too unpredictable. You can get caught in some BS. But it shows you boom, bounce. High, new high. It bounced off of this overnight. This was what you should have got in for, but I should have had either a buy limit here. I would have had it here, or I would have had it here, down here at like 23.9 something. If I thought it was gonna come down, and I did, I was like, either it's gonna come here or here. Just me looking at what I thought the market was gonna do based off my experience. Now, keeping it simple, low, high, low. This low is higher than this low, indicates to me that it may want to stay above this and trade higher. It did, boom, then boom. For some accumulation, even when this low, it traded down, it still traded above this high. It traded into it, but it still traded above it. Went up some little bit more, and then still it traded above these little lows right here. And its accumulation went higher, boom, higher high, lower high. You feel what I'm saying? Boom, it tested its equal highs right here. And then finally, boom, it came back down to this level, still above this. Entry right here, execution for a buy. You could have held it from the overnight session. So when the market traded up in here, this was where the market was when I came into it at 8:30. Look at this. It took off to go higher. Boom. Took it up. You could have took it, caught like 100 plus points. You done for the day. If you caught it here overnight, you sitting good and you break even. You can, once it hit this level, you could have easily put your break evens halfway, guaranteed profit. If you didn't want to do that because you worried about it coming down, I mean, not coming down. If you didn't want to do that because you didn't want to be stopped out so quick, well, you risk yourself. If it did come back down here, now it's back at your entry. Why would you want to risk that? And how about some catalyst came out that forced the market down for some reason? Just NQ, MEQ, like these markets can move like that. It can trade 2,000 points in a day. It'll go up 2,000, go down 2,000. All in one day. I've seen it happen numerous times. Boom, right here. The break, boom. So if you were down here, your trade is amazing because now you hear around 470, 471, 21, 471, right? If you took it and kept it and took it even around here, that's 200 plus points. Like on an NQ, that's what? One contract, what's that? 4,000? You got people who got large accounts who probably made 100, 200, 300, a million off that. Because they see that before it's happened. They did their charts. And they see that before it's happened. You have to simplify it. Low, high, equal, right? Low, this is a higher low. High, equal highs. Higher low, equal highs. Oh, back to this low, but it never broke it. So you should have been looking for sales right here. It still never broke this swing low from this swing high. That's the lowest point last since it made this high again, which is the equal highs. One, two, three. Three times it hit it before it finally broke. Back to this swing low again. Boom. took it up, could have held it, and bounced back to that swing high. Boom, made a higher high. Then it finally tested this level again, right? But it still never traded before that swing low. It still never went below that. It never broke below that. So you should have still been like, oh, this is going to continue up. This is going to continue up. Came here. Boom. Look at that. I'm just doing basic high, low, higher, higher, low. Boom. This is bullshit. This is garbage. It's just trading. It's just buyers and sellers trying to push it up and down. You caught it here and traded basically back into these highs. It never even came to this low where I put the arrow at. It damn sure didn't get close to this swing low here that it had, where it was the lower low, higher low, because it's higher than this where the arrow was pointing. Higher low. This is a higher low. So boom, it tested this high again. BS. Boom. Had if you created your trend line, boom, bounced off of it, didn't break. All right. Now it's just trading. Try to come back. One more went higher, try to come back, look, traded back into these highs. Still didn't even come to the lows or nothing. Kept going up, higher high. If you this not really a higher low. Boom. Touch this high again. Back traded above these highs. Trade, executed, made money. Keep it simple. First, I did a little bit more complicated. I showed you all these different levels and zones and these about why what I'm seeing. Secondly, now I simplified it. Higher high, higher low. Let's do the reverse. Remember I said at this level, it broke where the big institutions come in. Look at this. Look what it did. It tanked. Let's go to this side. Look at this. This is beautiful. Previous all-time highs started to trade down above this level here. It bounced, played right here. It told you here that it wanted to come down. It tested above here where it was a retracement and it broke here again. But it tested it, traded into this level. So that should tell you, like, okay, it's testing that level. It's not ready to go back down. Trade it back up into here is a fair value. Another execution for a sell. Played in here, create these small little M's you could have caught. You know, you won't even want to trade that too much. But if he was able to hold it, look at this. Came here, these are lower. It hit this this kind of high, tested this, but it never went above this. The closest high that it had. Bounced off this, traded back up. Now it's traded at half of these moves. Tested right here. Could have got a sell. Tested this level. Tested again. Boom. Probably was a fair value gap in here somewhere. Looks like it might have been. So it hit the gap to get price. Boom. Bounced. It traded below these lows right here. So it traded below that, came down. Okay, now it's trading below this, below these. Now it's back at this level where it broke. And look at this again. This is like, look at this again. Again, the lows. Trading lower and lower. Okay. High, low. Lower high, lower low. And then even push lower. Bounce, lower high, lower low. Now, this is you confusing because you're like, well, it came down here, so it must want to go up. It did. It went, but once you see it come here, this is why you have to be patient and trade it. It's still trading below these lows. So although this low wasn't lower than this low, they were just testing this low, probably trying to grab a gap that might have been down there. Still, it's trading below these lows. You should know it's still sell. I just need to get a better entry. I don't need to take it here or here. Bounce. You should know it's going to bounce back. Still trading below these lows. Low. This is just noise. Look at this is choppy noise, consolidation, community order. Lower low, lower high, back to equal lows from this level, pretty much. It's still lower, but it's more equal lows. Lower high, back to equal lows. So now it hit it multiple times. It's showing me it wants to break this level because the lower highs, the highs are getting lower. It's like a step. Boom, 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 boom. Low. Look here where it broke to the upside. This is key. When it broke to the upside here and it's getting the lower, the highs are getting lower, this should show you it's going to do the opposite of what this did at this level. It's going to drop. Look, you can look here. Look to the far left. Look here. This was what, beginning of September? It did it again. So you shouldn't be ready when they hit this level on the opposite, not going up or coming down, it's going to break right here. The history repeats itself. It might have exactly the way it happened, but it did. Break, boom, back here. This is a level where we trace that to come up. This should be a level where you should be looking for a retracement to come back up, but not for the buy for the sell because it never traded above this high, any of these highs. It wasn't going to do that. It wasn't going to show no volume to push it up this level. This is showing that it wants to sell. It's a sell. It's trading below these lows. It broke this level. It broke these levels. It's ready to trade lows again. The market is pushing down so they can buy a bunch of orders. You put Kane retraced, tank, boom, back to this level. So this should show you when you have entries and when you have TPs, which is take profits, it's just going to show you, boom, I'm going to take profit. If you didn't catch this, but you caught the reach, okay, paint came up in here. My take profit at bare minimum, if I caught it at the beginning of this move, should have been here. That's very short term. That's if you just want a quick scout. But the way this traded very aggressively. I was in the sell here. I made like 800-900. I remember this day. This is recent. This is in August. My bad. This is August. I said September, August. But you know it's most likely going to come back to this low. So you could easily put your take profit here, caught a nice move. Tested this level, bounced up as it bounced before. It was going to bounce again, even when it broke, when it hit these lows, where I got the mouse at, up here. Did it again. Boom. I'm just saying, bro. So it did it again. Bounce, boom. Tested these levels and trying to trade it in between this zone like it did here. Bounce, tested the low again, entry, boom. Order block right here. Like, look, this is when it started to want to go back up. But it still wasn't ready because it never broke here. So all of this noise, sideways noise, it still never broke here. That's why I didn't keep going up. It went right back down. And I'm sure it was catalysts in the system in the market that was showing. Beginning of September, stuff going on at this time. Traded back here, swept some liquidity that was still below there. People's excuse me, buy side liquidity, boom, take it up. Then it reversed, and it'll show you that I wanted to go back up. Guess what? This also shows you people never think about it because everybody look at the head and shoulders going down. Look at the head and shoulders, reverse head and shoulders going up. If you look at this as a shoulder, if I was upside down, this is a reverse head and shoulders. Check it out. and then went back up just as high. This is what it's doing now. Look, now it gave you another entry to get back in for a buy. Or it's here to trick people. This is probably gonna keep going up. So that's all I got to say, y'all, man. I'm out. Deuces.